And hello, everyone. Welcome to our power scanning session. It is December 6th, almost the second advent. And once again, we are today on the lookout for the most interesting trade setups for the week and the weeks ahead. My name is Daniel, and I will be your moderator throughout this session. And I'm greeting you today from our beautiful headquarters here in Montreal, in Canada. It's a beautiful winter day. I can see the snowflakes falling down. It's cold. I think it's around -4 degrees centigrade. It's been cold all week. And yeah, winter is coming in. I like it personally. Many people don't like the winter. They try to escape to warmer locations. I kind of, enjoy the winter as well. And it's all possible with a positive attitude, of course. And yeah, but before we get into today's session, who do we have in the room today? Please share your location with us in the Q&A box. Who do we have? Please put your location into the Q&A box. Hey, David. David from Frankfurt. David, how are you today? Nice to have you. Fabian from Hannover. Hey, Fabian, how's it going? Okay, Germany is strong today. Who else do we have? We have Frankfurt, Hanover. We have Aubrey from Coolish and damp Cyprus. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I can only imagine how damp it must be in Coolish in Cyprus, but it's good for you. Edda from Hamburg. Hey, Edda, how are you? How's it going? John from Sag Harbor, New York. Hey, John, good to have you. Cian from Garden Grove or Garden Grove in California. Keith from Scotland. Yeah, chilly Scotland. Is it raining there, Keith? I'm just kidding. Nice to have you, Keith and Aubrey, and of course, many of you guys are joining us for many, many weeks now in a row. Charles from New Jersey. Hey, Charles, how's it going? Geraldo from Edmund, or from what? Edmundo from Guatemala. So not Geraldo, Edmundo from Guatemala. Wow, that's awesome. Hey, Edmundo, how are you? Good to have you. How's Guatemala? I imagine it's nice and warm down there. Gerd from Germany, Münsterland. Hey, Gerd, how are you? Keith from Richfield, Connecticut. Hey, Keith, another Keith in the room. And David from Denver, Colorado. And Keith says in Scotland it's raining often. LOL. Yes. Perfect. Well, thank you guys so much for sharing your location. Once again, a truly international crowd. So let's get started. Once again, today we will be looking out for what we call swing trades. And give or take, a swing trade lasts between 1 and 20 weeks. So it's not a day trade, which you may open and also close within the same day. And it's also not necessarily a long-term investment, which you may hold for many, many years or perhaps for all your life. So it's right in the middle of these two extremes. And we call this the 13 minutes strategy. 13 is kind of an arbitrary number, but the idea here is that you can find these trades, provided that you use the right tools, very easily with our trade scanner called Liquidity View. And how this works and which trades we're going to find for this weekend, for the next days, we're going to find out together in this webinar. Now, my name is Daniel, as I mentioned before, and I am one of the founders of tradingindicators.com. And as the name suggests, I should say, this is a company based or specialized on the creation and development of innovative trading indicators. So we've built thousands of those for clients all over the world, for all kinds of platforms, for TradingView, of course, for MetaTrader, for TradeStation, for ModelWave, NinjaTrader, and so forth. So this is really our bread and butter. But as of late, we've also branched out and we have created what we call trading scanners. And as the name may suggest, a trading scanner will allow you to, seek through a large amount of symbols very quickly to find the ones which are of interest, which satisfy our criteria. We're going to use our trading scanner today to find swing trades which are based on criteria that we find important for finding interesting swing trades. And you're going to see it's all based on what we call technical analysis, which is basically an analysis of your price chart. We're going to look at historical price data, or in fact, our indicators will be going through historical price data and also volume data and try to predict what may happen to price in the future. And of course, trading is all about forecasting where price may be in the future. Now, having this said, please make this webinar your own. So if you have any questions, don't be shy. Put your questions into the Q&A box, and we're going to go through these questions as we proceed through this webinar. Also, a quick reminder that trading does contain risk and therefore is not suited for every investor. If you trade, make sure to only use risk capital, which is money that you actually can afford to lose. When it comes to backtest performance or hypothetical performance, keep in mind that this is not necessarily indicative of future performance, and any trade ideas and strategies and setups discussed in this webinar should not be construed as trade advice. These are for educational purposes only. Now, having this said, a couple of housekeeping items. First off, what we are going to do today is to interactively scan for interesting setups using our trade scanner called Liquidity View. Now, it would be best if you followed along. So if you don't have access to our dashboard yet, I know most of the users in our room already have access, you can get free access right now, a full week of free access by simply going to tradingindicators.com/view. And let me quickly put this link into the chat box. All right, just 1 second. There we go. So it's trading indicators, 1 second, .com/view to find out how you can get 1 week of free access to our dashboard. And of course, if you decide to stay along, we have interesting monthly and yearly options. All right, so this is how you get access to our dashboard. We also have an announcement to make that next Friday, I believe, I forgot the day. I think it's next Friday. And I made this mistake before on our Lunch and Learn session. Let me quickly double check this. Give me 1 second. I'm going to put this link in the chat as well. tradingindicators.com/camp. We will be hosting a very special boot camp where we will show you what each of our flagship indicators like Volume IQ, Liquidity IQ, MA Rush, Trend Radar, TI Matrix, TI Pairs, and so forth, what all these indicators will bring to the table and how they complement your trading approach. So if you want to find out how this all fits together into one global vision, join us at our free bootcamp next week at tradingindicators.com/camp. And I'm just going to double check real quick what time that is. I probably should have done this before. It is on Friday, as I thought, at 12 p.m. Eastern time. All right. So our Trading Indicators Bootcamp next Friday at 12 p.m. Eastern time. All right. So also, we already have a pre-recorded bootcamp specifically for our Liquidity View dashboard. So if you want to find out what are all the various features that we offer through the dashboard, because in these sessions on the weekend, we only touch on a subset of them. But if you want to find out what all the other features are and how these could help you with your trading, check out our bootcamp. It's almost 3 hours long. It's very comprehensive at tradingindicators.com/bootcamp. Let's also put this link real quick into the chat. There we go. All right. So check out this bootcamp for this. And 2 other things. We do have a Discord channel. It's free to join at tradingindicators.com/Discord. Just remember this /Discord at the end. And we also do have an ebook. I'm sure by now you probably have downloaded this ebook already at tradingindicators.com/power-of-3 to get hold of our ebook, where we are detailing the 3 main setups that we typically use in these power scanning sessions, and where we explain why these setups work and how to trade with them. And lastly, if you guys have any feedback on how to further improve our dashboard, don't be shy. The more feedback we get, the better it will be. And this is what really drives the further development of the dashboard. So if you have any suggestions, symbol requests, whatever it may be, please don't be shy. Reach out to us either through the Q&A, Q&A in your Zoom room, or by sending us an email afterwards. All right. And Gary wants to know, is this being recorded? Yes, absolutely. In fact, Gary, if you go afterwards, like probably in like 2 hours from now, maybe 3 hours, to tradingindicators.com/view, which is our page where you can sign up for the free trial. But also on this page, we will be uploading the recording of this webinar. So no worries, this is all recorded. Perfect. All right, now without further ado, let's start with our market review. And we're going to switch over to our dashboard. There we go. It looks like this, where we have our trade scanner on the left-hand side. and our charting on the right-hand side. And what we're going to do first is we're going to start with a global market overview. So what happened last week? Well, let's start with the SPY, the ETF that tracks the S&P 500. And before I even open up the chart, this is still a different chart here. Before I even open up the chart, look what it says here in this row for the SPY. SPY, current price, and then under liquidity IQ setup, it says short bounce. Now, what does short bounce mean? I'm sure most of you will know this. It means that right now, in fact, since Wednesday, the SPY is in the immediate vicinity of a resistance level. Case in point, let's check out the chart. So this is the chart of the S&P 500 once this loads, and what can we see here? Let me just move this a little bit. I'll zoom in a little bit. What do we see here? Where is price? Yes, right at this green level, right at this resistance zone. So what does that mean? Well, first off, there is definitely a chance that price may bounce off, at least for a little bit, for a small amount from this level when the market opens on Monday. Why do I think that there's a good chance for this? Well, first off, of course, we are nearing this resistance level. And secondly, what else do we see here right above it? A liquidity capture event. Now, what are these again? These are candles which are nearing, they are approaching a key level, in this case, a key resistance level. They cannot break it. You can see it here, this candle wicked into this level, couldn't penetrate completely, and this candle has abnormally high volume. And oftentimes, this can be seen as a sign where sellers are stepping in, where something is up, and potentially this can be a turning point, at least a short-lived turning point in the market. Now, would I now trade this to the short side? As you may want to imagine, probably not. I'm not gonna, short the SPY on Monday. It's too risky. Why? Because we are, of course, in a very sustained and stable uptrend. If I scroll back a little bit here on our chart, what do we see? We'll have to scroll back quite a bit. We see that since May 16, 2023, or May 15, perhaps, we are in a confirmed uptrend, and I barely trade against the overarching trend. So I wouldn't go short here, but I probably wouldn't go long here either. Instead, I will patiently wait, as I so often do. I'm going to wait until either prices are pulling back, perhaps towards this first line of MA rush, or perhaps even to this support zone if this happens, or until prices break this level. In either case, I will be looking to add to my existing long position in the SPY. But acting right now, right at this resistance level, perhaps a bit too risky. Now, how does it look in the QQQs? All right. So the NASDAQ 100 ETF, and we can also see here, we scroll over to the right-hand side, also a short bounce setup. Also the Qs, even though not as close, also the Qs are approaching this resistance level up here. You can see it here. We are coming near this level. There's still a bit of room to go. So gun to my head, which one, if I had to trade one long, which one would I pick? Either the SPY or the QQQ? It's probably going to be the Qs, because here at least we do have a little bit extra room to go until we hit this resistance level. All right. Now, but also, it is not unlikely. Of course, there's no certainties in trading, but it is not unlikely that we may see a bit of a bounce next week or the next 2 weeks off this level. But of course, overall, the uptrend is very much intact. And one way I trade the Qs, I do have an existing position in the Qs, which I built over the years. The way I trade it typically is I just wait for pullbacks. You can see it here, at least a level 3 pullback, which is where I will add to my position. Here pullback, as per trend radar, here, and here. These are prime moments where you want to add to your position. You don't want to add to it necessarily right now where everything's extended. We're all green here in trend radar. A bit too expensive, especially also since we're near resistance. You will patiently wait for these pullbacks. This is a strategy which has worked nicely for me, at least in the past, both for the SPY and the Qs, and in fact for gold as well. So talking about gold, what's going on there? Let's go to the GLD, the Gold Spider ETF. Also short bounce, you can see it here. Also here, we are coming up towards a resistance level. Prices are expensive again. We bounced up very nicely off this first MA rush line. In fact, this has been my strategy. In fact, here I was waiting for a level 3 pullback and price to come down to this first line, which have been great opportunities to either trade gold outright by either going long the ETF by selling puts or perhaps by buying calls, depending on how expensive the options are. But any strategy really which anticipates a move further up and a quick recovery of these pullbacks. And you can see in the past when this happened, like here, level 3 pullback close to the line, level 3 pullback close to the line, level 3 pullback close to the line, level 3 pullback, or level 4 pullback even here, level 3 or level 4 pullback. And over again, this strategy has been highly successful. And this is what I'm be waiting for. But right now, of course, we are not in this situation. Yeah, prices are not pulling back, even though we had a bit of a down day on Friday. But nonetheless, we are extended. We are quite far away from our first line. I'll be waiting patiently for prices to come down to this first line with a pullback to potentially add to my gold position or to even trade it outright. What about silver? Well, silver was the shooting star the week before this week. Super strong move up. And I warned last Saturday, hey, after such a huge move up, maybe there will be a pullback coming. We did see a bit of a pullback on Thursday. You can see it here. We came down a little bit, but this was not really a big one. Look at Trend Radar. Nothing even changed here. It didn't even register on Trend Radar. This down candle, nothing happened. We stayed all green, not even a level 1 pullback on Trend Radar. That shows you how stable this up move is and how strong this uptrend move was in silver. That this little pullback here, in fact, it was not that little, it was a couple of dollars down, didn't even register in Trend Radar. And also here, I drew this little square here in my previous session earlier this morning. You can see it here. I will be waiting patiently, as I always do, for prices to come down at least to this broken resistance level. Because if we come down there, this would be our zone break retrace setup, a setup that we trade often. In fact, we have a very nice example of this today. When we look at the upcoming setups where price formally or breaks above resistance, initially goes up, then retraces down to the broken resistance level, which at that point will act as support. And oftentimes this can be the launch pad for prices moving further upwards in the breakout direction. All right. So moving on, what about Bitcoin? All right. Well, the verdict is still out with Bitcoin as to what will happen. This was our prediction. I don't know when it was. I think it was last Saturday when we drew this pattern here onto the chart where I theorized, of course, there are no guarantees in trading, where I theorized, okay, this downwards move, since we broke support here around 103,000, this might not be over yet. Because oftentimes, moves happen in waves. So we move down, we started around 82,000, then initially up. And I thought maybe this was just a retracement, just a correction within that bearish move. And there's one more leg coming up still. So the verdict is still out. There's still a chance, hopefully not, because I have long exposure to Bitcoin, so I don't really want Bitcoin to come down further. So hopefully not, but there is still a good chance that we may see another lag down towards the 73, 74,000 level. Now, if we come down to this level, I'll be one of the first to add on to my long-term Bitcoin position at this price level, which would be, if we come down there, if I measure this out from the all-time highs in Bitcoin, just for the fun of it, let me quickly have a look how big that discount would be. This would be then a 40.99% discounted price from the all-time highs. Crazy. That Bitcoin could lose since October 6th, that's only 2 months, roughly 40%. I mean, we're not there yet. It's, of course, if I just move this higher a little bit, give me 1 second. Right now, we are at 27%. Nonetheless, big moves in Bitcoin, of course, as always. And we'll see what happens. We'll be careful. I'm not going to do anything with Bitcoin right now because I don't know, have a hunch that we might see another leg further down towards this support level here at 74, 73,000. Alrighty, so this was the market overview. Now let me quickly see if there are any questions. Lenny is wondering that he saw a narrow distance between resistance and support on the SPY. All right. Let me have a quick look. I didn't pick that up, but let me quickly see what Lenny saw here. Yeah, I mean, I kind of like it like this even better than on the Qs. Qs on the Qs, the support level is much further down. It's a really big distance. Here, at least, we have. I mean, I like it better because there's less price needs to move down much less to go to a solid support level, which could be a great entry point. So we have to be less patient, maybe for the SPY to find a really good entry point. Because ideally, what we want to do is we want to enter on a pullback which coincides with a key technical level. So I like it that way. And then, of course, it's maybe a bit hard to see. Now, if everything comes together, we will also see a liquidity capture event on any of these candles approaching this key support level, which oftentimes is something which will further increase the odds of the price actually bouncing off the level rather than the price breaking through this level. All right. So that was the SPY, but let me now talk about a little bit of what we found last week and how our picks fared from last week. So for this, I'm going to go to our watch list here that we have created last week, the weekly swing trades from November 29th, 2025. I'm going to open it up. There were only 6 trades in there. You can see it here. So let's check them out, how they fared. And just a heads up, last week was a bit of a more difficult week because the setups were not as clean as we normally like them to see. Let's just check it out. Broadcom was one of them. So for Broadcom, we did see last week a zone break setup, meaning the price, we can see it here, broke above this resistance level. And the idea was that we're going to see a follow through in the breakout direction. Didn't really happen yet, but no harm, no foul. But still in the vicinity of the entry price. So I still think Broadcom, let me just put my trend indicator on here, is super bullish. And this was perhaps just some profit booking of some people when we broke above, I should say, this resistance level. And I still see it as very bullish. So if you're in this position, I would hold on to it. Just keep in mind that earnings are coming up on December 11th. All right. So that's Broadcom. So pretty much about the same where we were last week. CLMB, the Climb Global Solutions. That was a nice bounce trade, which worked out beautifully. Look at this one here. Exactly the way we wanted. We came down to support with a liquidity capture in a symbol which is long-term bullish. And what do we see? Beautiful move to the upside. Yeah, that's picture perfect. It couldn't have gone better for the symbol. Great, great pick there. Costco. What's going on with Costco? Very long-term bullish. Yeah, I was hopeful that we would that this correction that we saw here in Costco would have come to an end. Initially, it looked really good. We came up Wednesday. We had a solid profit, but then Thursday and Friday we came down a bit. We're still in the vicinity of where we entered. We entered around this level here. So I still like Costco for the longer term, and I believe that what we see right now in Costco is a correction with a clearly defined lower boundary, which is this one here at around 870. So if that's our assumption, I mean, I would definitely give this trade room up until this level, maybe even a bit lower. And the idea is that we will eventually complete this consolidation, and the overarching uptrend is going to continue. All right, that was Costco. Cintas Corporation, another long bounce setup. Yeah, pretty much where we left up last week. We can see it here. Cintas is at this key support level down here. We're at a nice up day on Friday. The idea also here is that we will eventually complete this consolidation, a consolidation zone, which I believe is very clearly marked to the downside by this level here, around 180. That's going to be our lower end of it. And the idea is that eventually we're going to complete it, or in the interim at least, trade towards the middle in between support and resistance and centers. And two more, StoneX Corp. Let's check it out here. What StoneX doing? Yeah, that worked out nicely. Our entry was exactly where we planned it at the lower end of this trend channel. You can see it here. Prices came up very nicely to the upside. So that worked out beautifully. And finally, we had Steel Dynamics Inc. That was also a zone break setup that we saw last week. Developed quite nicely in the first couple of days. We went up all the way to 172, but now the retracement down to the broken level. Now it has become our zone break retrace setup. If you're in this position, I would still stay in it. I believe that's just a correction, a typical zone break retrace setup. And oftentimes after we hit former resistance, this level will now act as support, and we may see another price move to the upside. All right. So this was last week. All right. Derek, I can't see the picture. Maybe just let me know what the symbol is, please. Can you explain the significance of liquidity capture event and how you use it in trading? It is absolutely significant for both swing trading and day trading. In fact, oftentimes this is one of our absolutely mandatory criteria. Let me give you an example. I'm going to switch context a little bit. On Tuesday, in our Lunch and Learn session, it's going to be a big context switch. I'm going to go to the 15-minute time frame here. So it's going to be a day trading example just to explain to you how crucial these events are. And I'm going to show you the trade that we took on Tuesday, if I can find it real quick. It was a trade in wheat futures. 1 second. Something went wrong here with my trading view. Give me just 1 quick second, guys. All right, so where was Tuesday? Let me see if I can find it here. ZW is probably not the same event, same alert, but look at this. I believe what we traded on Tuesday, it was this one here. Look at this. One of my favorite setups. Bearish trend, MA rush. Price came up to a key resistance level and liquidity capture right there at this candle. Great short setup. Once again, my interpretation of these liquidity capture events is, of course, this is a bit agnostic and subjective, but that's my view of it, is that for some reason, volume is spiking up at this candle when it approaches this key level. And to me, it's a sign that, hey, something is up, something is different. And perhaps we will see a change of regime, meaning that, hey, this upwards move towards resistance has come to an end. Perhaps buyers are stepping in, preventing price from going any further up, from breaking this resistance level, and instead price will bounce off this level towards the middle, at least in between support and resistance. And we see this over and over again. Look at this. Up, liquidity capture, bounce. Liquidity capture, bounce. At support, liquidity capture, bounce to the upside. So it happens so many times. Of course, I don't really have any hard evidence, but to me, it's just such a beautiful setup, especially if you can correlate this with trend information too. We're bearish anyways. We're coming up to resistance, which is also a bearish setup, and we have a liquidity capture, which is another bearish setup. If all these come together, to me, these are great trade entries, both for swing trading, but also for day trading. All right. Anyways, I'm going to go back to and Masa says, okay, let me go back to the dashboard. Costco, real quick, has been bullish since December 2010. Yeah, it's been bullish forever. It's a very bullish stock. This could be. Oh, and Nicholas is in the room. Please promote me 1 second. Hi, Nicholas. How are you? Give me 1 second. I'm going to try to promote Nicholas if I can. Oh, this is probably in the participants. 1 second, guys. I'm going to let Nicholas in. He will help me a little bit with the questions. There we go. And there we go. Done. Perfect. So, hi, Nicholas. How are you? Okay, perfect. So now, of course, we don't only want to talk about what happened last week. We want to find new setups for this week. And what are these setups that we typically look for? Well, for this, I'm going to quickly go to my slides. And what we're going to do now is we're going to systematically try to identify interesting setups using a process which is very simple. We're going to focus on one setup at a time based on what we see. We're going to create a watch list or a hot list, and then at the end, we're going to go through the symbols in that hot list to find perhaps the most interesting setups within that hot list. Sounds good? Let's do it. And the first setup which I really like is our bullish bounce setup. It works as follows. And real quick, of course, many of you will already know what it is. What we want to see is a stock. This is a trend entry setup. A stock which has been trending upwards. We're primarily going to be looking for long setups here. Stock which has been trending upwards for quite some time, just like the stock here, which has been in a long-term uptrend. All right, that's condition number one. But of course, as a trend trader, there are good moments to enter into a trend trade, and there are not so good moments. So, for example, here, entering up here would not have been such a good moment. Of course, hindsight is 2020, but when prices are so extended, oftentimes it's a bit dangerous to enter because the chance and the possibility of a pullback, they're not too low. It's definitely something that might be happening. Therefore, I patiently sit on my hands and wait for such pullbacks, for price to come down towards lower price levels. You can see it here. For example, when price came down from this high point all the way to here, these are the pullbacks I'll be looking for. And ideally, I want these pullbacks to coincide with a key technical level, either a support level or a former resistance level, both of which could act as support and then propel price to move higher again. That's one of my favorite setups. Let's try to find it with our dashboard. So I'm going to switch over real quick. And you can see here on our left-hand side, we do have our trade scanner, which currently scans through 5,828 symbols. Now, what were these criteria? Remember which ones I mentioned? Criteria number one is we want the symbol to be in an uptrend. So for this, we're going to use one particular indicator. It's called MA Rush. And I think in the future, maybe you're going to rename this indicator because I think it doesn't really, MA Rush doesn't sound much like trend identification. It's something we came up in the spur of the moment. But nonetheless, it's the indicator which finds out what is the current trend for a symbol. So for example, here for Agilent, we can see MA Rush telling us right here as of, what's the date? As of October 20th, 2025, Agilent is in an uptrend, is in a bullish trend. And if you look here to our scanner, we can see that, okay, for this symbol here, Agilent Technologies, the arrow in our MA Rush column points upwards. It's green, and there's a number next to it, to the right of it, 33. This is the trend duration, meaning if we count the candles from the last candle on the chart all the way back to this label, which number do we get? Yes, exactly, 33. This number here. So this shows you the trend duration. It's going to become important in just a bit because, as mentioned before, I like to trend trade stocks which have been in a trend trade or in a trending market for a long time already, not just for 33 days, because that's quite fresh. Okay, so that's criteria number one. We want to be bullish. And now, as scanner, we can find all the bullish symbols by simply clicking the filter icon to the right of MA Rush and select bullish. Done. Now we can see of our 5,828 stocks currently, or symbols, 3,441 are bullish. Great. So we filter down maybe 2,000, a bit more than 2,000 symbols. Next, we want the stock to be pulling back to a key technical level, to a support level. How can we find these stocks? Well, let's have a look at Agilent. Is Agilent, with this pullback here currently, near a key technical level? What do you think? Price is right here? I would say no. We're kind of in the middle, in between support down here, this red line, and resistance up here. So Agilent would not be the best candidate. Even though it pulled back a little bit, price right now is not near technical level. So how can we find stocks which are currently at a technical level? Well, we're going to use our Liquidity IQ column here, which is based on our Liquidity IQ indicator. We select the filter next to it, and we're selecting long bounce. Why long bounce? Well, first off, we want to bounce means price may be bouncing off a level, And if it says long bounce, it may be bouncing off to the long side, meaning price needs to be near support because only from support we can really, bounce to the upside. So we're gonna select this filter criteria here. And now we can see, okay, all these different stocks here. Let me just pick one that we potentially may know, like AIG, the American International Group, is currently near, you can see it here, a support level, near this reddish level. Okay. Another example, ALX, Alexander's Inc. in real estate. What do we see? Well, near a support level, right there. Perfect. Maybe one more. Uh, Whatever it is, this one here, APAM, the Artisan Partners Asset Management. Yeah, currently near a red level. So this is kind of how we can find these stocks. We can see right now, of our 5,828 symbols in total, 187 of those are currently at a key support level. Perfect. And now there's one more thing I like to do. I like to sort by trend duration. You can see it here, the number next to MA Rush. That's our trend duration. So 193 trading days, 46 trading days, 430 trading days, and so forth. By clicking on this column here, I can sort from highest to lowest. And the one stock which has been a long bounce setup for one bar, and has been an uptrend for the longest, is this one here, the XRF.AX stock, an Australian stock. XRF Scientific. Let's check it out. It's a very low price stock. Not sure we're going to trade it, but nonetheless. In fact, this one seems to be a bit off. Nicholas, if you're in the room, please take a note of this stock. I think there's something off of this particular symbol. I think we saw this one before. Last one. Let's ignore this one. Let's move to the next one. Cintas. The Cintas Corporation. We talked about it before. It was on our radar last week. I like it because we're coming off right of this support cluster. You can see one line here, one line here. I do believe that this could be the lower end of our correction here. And I like it for this. So I'm going to keep Cintas on our watch list for next week. All right. And Ron wants to know, just real quick before I add Cintas to our watch list, how do we interpret these green lines or red lines? Well, the red lines are support levels and the green ones are resistance levels, first off. But, in the end, it doesn't really matter how you call these levels, Ron. What's more important is how did price approach these levels? Meaning, did we come from the top, from the upside towards the level, or did we come from the downside towards this level? And depending on where price comes from, these levels may act as support or resistance. So in this case, we're coming from the top side, coming down here, getting to this level. And here the idea is we're gonna the support level will stop price and its downwards move, and we may see a bounce towards the upside. Okay. So I hope that explains it. So Cintas is our first candidate for next week. So I'm going to create a new watch list in our little scanner here. There we go. Create a new one. Weekly swing trades. Call in 2025 12/06, December 6th. Create. I'm going to add Cintas to it. I'm going to do two more things afterwards. So first I'm going to add this symbol to Cintas. I will now also share this watch list with you guys. So if you have access to the dashboard, you can now see this watch list. You may need to reload it in your account. And I will also unshare the watch list from October 25th. So we're only sharing the last 5 watch lists to keep your account as clean as possible. All right. And Aubrey is saying, just the question came in, what about renaming MA Rush, our trend indicator, to TI Momentum Phase Indicator? Or in short, TIMPI. Well, I don't know about this, Aubrey. Thanks for the suggestion. It's a possibility, but we're gonna keep brainstorming a little bit more. And Ron said he was curious about the trend line, like red and green lines. Oh, got it. The MA Rush lines. Yes. Good point. Okay. So actually, it's a really good comment. So for Cintas, for example, I think it makes sense to explain a bit more. So first off, these lines, Ron, these are printed onto the chart by our ME rush indicator. This one here. See this? That's the indicator which prints these lines onto the chart. Now, the lines are one purpose of the indicator, but the primary purpose of this MA rush indicator is to show you trend information, like global trend information. What do I mean by this? Let me just scroll back a little bit. You can see here, Cintas, of course, super bullish. I mean, if this is not a bullish stock, I don't know what it is. Yeah, even though we had a little bit of a switch down here in 2020, but overall, I mean, it's a cool stock. Definitely a cool stock to trade. This is why I really like this setup. Even though, and this is actually I'm in this stock for quite a while. I sold some puts. Just a little bit of a backstory here. I sold some puts. I think around here. I got assigned. Of course, I collected the premium, but now I own the stock because I got assigned. And yeah, I've been selling calls ever since I owned the stock, collecting premium for selling calls. So as long as the stock is down here in the trenches, I'm going to collect premiums on my calls. And the idea, of course, is that eventually this uptrend is going to continue. For a stock like this, I think the odds are not the worst for this. But back to the topic. What do these lines tell us? Well, first off, you can see that the indicator kept its bullish trend, which we know about since June 18, 2020. It kept its bullish trend even though we had a couple of corrections along the way. You can see it here, some corrections, and of course, most notably, recently, bigger correction where even the MA rush lines went red. So these lines here, these are our like a moving average. In fact, these are moving averages, show either faster or slower moving averages, calculated based on a multi-time frame analysis approach. So think of this as, more sophisticated moving averages. The upper ones have a faster period and the lower ones have a slower period. And of course, if these averages are rising, the lines are green. If these MAs are falling, they are reddish. That's where the color scheme comes in. Okay. Now, even though all three moving averages are currently falling, it doesn't mean that MA rush will change its trend indication. We're still bullish, and the indicator is designed to only change from bullish to bearish in this case if all the factors are pointing to the fact that, hey, we did see a lasting trend change of the symbol. This is not the case yet. We're still bullish. This is why with this bigger retracement, yeah, we came down. Let me just measure this out real quick. How much did we come down? From the high here all the way down to current price levels, that's 18%. Well, off 18% of our highs, this can be an interesting discounted long entry opportunity for this particular symbol. All right. Okay, Kumar, I will check these symbols a bit later. Perfect. So I hope Ron, this explains it a bit. Alrighty. Now, next one in our list is GPI, the Group 1 Automotive. What do we see here? All right. We can also see that here that price is near our support level. What I don't like too much about this one, I like it overall, the symbol, but this setup is not as clean as it could be. Why? Because this level, we can see it here, didn't hold up in the past. Prices came below this level. You can see it here. We came below the support level. Now we're above it again, but it's not the cleanest setup. And I have a feeling that we may see for GPI, of course, I might be wrong, but we may see a move towards this level here at some point, the 355 support level, and that this level will not hold up. So I'm going to stay away from this one just because this level was broken previously in the past. Moving on, NBN, the Northeast Bank. What's going on here? Oh, yeah. Also, this one, same story. I like Northeast Bank quite a bit, but I do think the lower end of this corrective phase from the all-time, from the highs here, is around here at 78. This support level here in the middle is just an intermediate support level. I don't want to trade off it. If prices come down to this level again to 78, I get very interested. I believe we did trade. Let me just quickly see what did we do with NBN in the past. 2025 May. Yeah, we came down to 78, exactly this level here. Look at this. That was our setup back in May this year. That's where it gets interesting. It's this level here, May or here. That's the setup. Look at this beautiful move up. That's what I'm waiting for here for NBN. I don't like to trade off this intermediate level. So moving on. Tanger Inc. SKT. What's going on here? I'll tell you right off the bat, I like it. A couple of things are coming together here. All right. So what do we see? First off, yes, we are in a corrective phase. Yes, prices came down all the way to this level at 28. And yes, this does seem to be like an intermediate level. I still like it better than Northeast Bank. Why? First of all, we are approaching this level from the top, which is what I want to see. Secondly, what do we see on the last candle here? A nice liquidity capture. Remember, the event that, in my view, amplifies the odds that we're going to see a bounce off this level rather than a break. So I like it. Of course, even though it would be better if it was down here at this extreme level, I still like it here for a long trade. Just keep it on the short leash. If you go long here, make sure that you're going to get out of this one here around 34.50, because up here we do have another resistance level. Nonetheless, I do like it. I'm going to add it to our list. All right. Moving on. QBE Insurance Group Limited, another Australian stock. What do we see here? Bullish for 1,133 trading days. All right. Yeah. Interesting one too. Kind of looks a little bit like catching a falling knife. We've been just consistently coming down to this level. But I do like it. So let me just quickly go back a little bit here to see where are we coming in from. Yeah. A zone break here. The zone break level here. Then we came up down to the broken level, now acting as support at around 1870. We have another support level here at 1830. So multiple levels of support and former resistance around this price area here. If you want to take a shot at this Australian stock, we also had a liquidity capture on the last bar. Yeah, this could be an interesting one. So I'm going to add this one as well to our hot list. All right. Moving on, Rheinmetall, for all the Germans among us, a German weapons company. So if you're an ethical trader, maybe not the best symbol. Nonetheless, it has a solid technical setup. A long-term uptrend, you can see it here. Yeah, unfortunately, these companies do benefit in times of conflict, which we unfortunately do have in this world right now. Our prices came down to support. They came down a little bit down below support, but not too much. To me, that's still in the vicinity, so this still qualifies as support holding. And now we're trading above support. I do believe that this could be an interesting long entry at this price level, so I'm going to add this one to our list as well. All right. Then we have two FX symbols here. SGDUSD, Singaporean dollar, Aussie dollar. We're not going to add this to our list, but yeah, this is two. It looks like kind of a funny looking chart anyways. Wow, how bouncy this one is. Look at this. Yeah. Anyways, as an FX trader, maybe something to look forward to as for a day trade if you can hold this level. There's a couple of pips to be made. Pound Canadian. This one here, the level broke prior to this. I'm gonna skip it. And then we have T-Mobile US, TMUS. All right. Yeah, we're in between levels. We're not close enough to this level yet. I'm going to skip this one. Brambles Limited. All right. Oh, that's an interesting one. Look at this. A descending triangle, which is a bearish pattern. Let me just quickly look at this one here. We did close this gap here. Actually, this gap was closed prior to this. Now we're down to this level. Yeah, I think I'm going to skip this one too. I do like it for a bounce off this level, but there's no liquidity capture. And this descending triangle is a bearish formation. Let me just see, what did we have in the past here? I mean, it does look like a really nice bullish symbol. Been going up for a long time. You know what? Just because it's just so stably bullish, that's a word, stably. Um, yeah, I mean, if we manage to break above this upper end of this triangle, you know what? I'm going to add it anyways. I want to keep it on my watch list. I'm going to add this one, at least on our hot list for now. And perhaps two more before we move on. Here we have a German company, die Münchner Rückversicherungsgesellschaft. Yeah, interesting setup. Let me just have a look here. I called this one out in our webinar at 10 a.m. in German, where prices are on a sustained uptrend. Now, at support with a liquidity capture at the last bar, we're going to also add this one to our list. And there's one more I wanted to point out. It took us a while to get there. Let me just skip this one here. The Train Technology PLC, TT. What do we see here? So, all right. So we are coming, I like it. We're coming from the top, from above towards support. We do have a liquidity capture on the last bar. And this can be an interesting long opportunity. The only thing which you want to be careful of this one here is, not sure if you saw it. I've developed I've trained my senses for these kind of events here. Do you see it? Let me just make this a bit bigger and take this one out. What do we see here? That's an up gap, which has not been filled yet. I'm not saying it's going to get filled, but at least keep an eye on this, because if this gap were to get tested, prices would need to come down a whole bit more from this level. And if we're here, maybe even going to come down further. So just keep an eye on this, that this gap was not filled yet. And these gap fills, look at this one here, these happen a lot of times. Yeah, it's not impossible that this gap will be tested at least by this symbol. So actually, I'm going to skip this one for this week. And you can see how easy it is to find all these different symbols. All right. Now, I ramble a lot. Nicholas, do we have any questions so far?
Taking a look here, Daniel. So yes, we have some symbol requests, and Lenny wants to know, he never understood exactly how Forex charts works. If they're pairs, what does a rising or falling chart really mean? I know it's a basic question. Apologies for that.
Yeah, they're all relative charts. It basically means how does where do we have the Forex? How does the pound, for example, compare to the Canadian dollar? So they're always pairs. First off, it's not a general strength chart of a currency like the dollar index, for example. It is, even though the dollar index is mostly a comparison to the euro, but it is always a relative comparison to a different currency, like pound to Canadian dollars. And it basically shows you how strong or what the exchange rate is with that currency. That's what it shows you over time. What is the difference in exchange rate?
Thanks, Daniel. You're good to continue. We just have symbols now.
Yeah. All right. So the other setup I really wanted to get to is our long break retrace setup. So what is this? So we talked about the bounce setup. Prices are on an uptrend, came down to support. We're looking for a bounce to the upside. But there's another setup which I really enjoy, which is our zone break retrace setup. Before we understand this setup, we quickly have to talk about a zone break. What's a zone break? Well, in trading, nothing lasts forever, just like in life. Unfortunately, eventually, every support level is likely to get broken, and every resistance level is likely to get broken too. But when this happens, new opportunities open up for us as well, because at that point, we can trade the breakout. We can trade, or we can anticipate, okay, price broke support here. We're anticipating price will continue in the breakout direction for quite some time. But with one caveat, that before we see the big follow through, prices may, or the market may try to fake you out by retracing back to the broken level. You can see it here multiple times, which at this point has changed roles. In this case here, support has become resistance, and price is bouncing off resistance at that point to the downside. And of course, this can also happen to the bullish side, where price previously breaks resistance, initially goes up, then comes down to broken resistance, which is now acting as support, and then the actual move commences. And this is exactly the setup which I want to find right now. Zone break retraces. You will see, as soon as I enable this in our scanner, these are extremely rare. Let's just put this into context. So I'm going to clear up all our filters here. We are scanning through 5,828 symbols. But as soon as I select long break retrace, here my filter, guess what happens? We're down to only 11. That's a crazy filtering process. Only 11 stocks qualified for this setup right now. And here are a couple of them. Argon Inc. Let's check it out. All right, what do we see here? All right, and I already annotated this a little bit prior to this webinar because I had previous engagement before. So what do we see here? Price broke. And I really like this setup. Price broke above resistance here on September 26th this year. We came up, came down, down again to resistance, up again, down to resistance, now up again, big move up. We gap down because of earnings on December 4th. You can see this little earnings symbol here. Gap down, and even at current price levels, I kind of like a long setup right now, even for this one, because broken resistance is not too far away, now acting as support. We gap down. This gap is screaming to get filled, at least in my view. We're going to see a gap fill, and we are on a very stable uptrend. Look at the symbol here. Super stable uptrend, big move up. I like it, at least to scale in, even at current price levels. Let's see where the market opens on Monday for a long position. So I'm definitely going to add this one to our list. Argon Inc. All right. Perfect. Edit. And perhaps two more. The MCY, the Mercury General Corporation. Yeah. Similar thing here. We did break above resistance. You can see it here. Broke above resistance, came up and down again. The only thing here is I kind of, I like a well-balanced zone break retrace where here's not really balanced. We broke above it real quick up and then down immediately afterwards. But I like to see something like this instead, where it takes a while to go up and then it takes a while to go down. These are, in my view, even better setups. We kind of saw this one in Argon to some degree at least. So if I go back to the previous symbol here to Argon Inc. Well, it took a while to go up. Then we came down quite fast, but still, nonetheless, we're not even down yet, so it may take even a bit longer. So these are more balanced setups. I really like this one. This has a good chance of becoming our trade of the week on Monday in our newsletter. But nonetheless, this is an interesting one too. I'm just going to skip it for now. I think we already have a good chunk of stocks. Let's go to this one here, the Perseus Mining Limited. Nah, too far away. There's something off of these Australian stocks, Nicholas. Maybe also take a note of this because some of the levels are not so clearly identified here in our scanner. Anglo Gold, another one here. Okay, yeah, it's okay. Zone break and then down again, but it's not as balanced as I like to see the setup to work out. So I'm gonna skip this one. Perhaps one more, the CBFV, CB Financial Services. Yeah, let me just quickly have a look. How does this one look like? It's kind of flat to me. Yeah, too kind of all over the place. I'm gonna skip this one too, and maybe one more. AEP, the American Electric Power Company. Let's have a quick look here. All right. Yeah, this one is more interesting. It's more balanced. You can see how this chart looks a bit more predictable. We broke here. It took us a while to come up, and it took us a little while to come down. Now, if you're coming down to this price level, around 115, this could be an interesting opportunity, especially since then we're going to have filled this up gap here. Prices didn't fill it yet. We came close to the gap fill, but not to the cent. We may fill it probably on Monday or Tuesday, and then we may see a nice bounce off this level. So this one I like. I'm going to add this one to our list. Okay. Done. This is our watch list exactly at the hour mark. It's 12:29 Eastern. And let's have a quick look throughout this list to see what did we find. So 8 stocks. Not bad. So Cintas, let's have a look. Okay, this was a bounce setup. I kind of like it, not just because I own this stock already. It's I just do think, I mean, look at this uptrend one more time. I have to go scroll back here. It's just such a bullish stock. And this correction could be a really good opportunity if you're patient enough for this to play out. So I like it. I'm going to add it one more time to our watch list here, to our trade notes for today. So new entry with the current setup for December 6th. And by the way, guys, big changes are coming to our trade notes. There will be the chance that, or there will be the feature that I can share my trade notes with you. That's coming. And you will have much more control about your trade notes. You can annotate them even after the fact. You can edit them, you can delete them, you can clean them up, and so forth. So this is all coming very soon. Okay, Tanger Inc. Let's check it out. Yeah. Let me just quickly see, where did we call out the stock? I can see we did have a trade note here on October 2nd. It was here, I believe. Yeah. Wow, what a nice trade that was. Look at this. This is where we called it out. What a move up it was. I kind of like it here at this intermediate level. Just be aware that, hey, prices may come down all the way to this level here, 28. But nonetheless, let me add this to our trade notes too. I'm going to add a new one. New trade note and put this one here as well. All right. Come on. It's just a bit slow. Too much traffic on our dashboard. Let's go. Okay. Come on. There we go. Okay. Finally, it's done. Perfect. So, QBE, the QBE Insurance Group, also a long bounce setup. Let me just, I was just about to say, I'm going to skip this one on the grounds that we do have this gap here, which might finally get filled and we would come down a bit further. To me, it kind of feels like catching a falling knife. I'm going to skip this one. It's just too much of a straight move down all the way from 24. Let's skip this one. Rheinmetall. Yeah, unfortunately, I think it's going to gain strength again based on some fundamentals as well. So let's add this one as well to our trade notes. All right. Okay. By the way, we called this one out. Let me show you in a second. We called this one out on October 30th, I think, around this level here. And look at this move upwards afterwards. It took just a second here. Come on. And what is this loading? There we go. Let me just quickly go back to our trade note from October 30th. Right at this price level down here at 1,600. Oh, where it was. Yeah, I believe it was somewhere maybe a bit earlier. Anyways, it was definitely lots of potential in that move afterwards. Brambles Limited, long bounce one. Yeah, we filled this gap. Triangle here. I'm gonna skip this one too, just on the grounds that hey, we don't have much room to move towards the upper end of this descending triangle. Münchner Rück, insurance company in Germany. Yeah, I do like it from this price level. I would just put my stop at least towards like at 510 below the swing low here. But overall, that's an interesting setup. So I'm going to add this one. All right. And then my favorites coming up next, Argon Inc. For a zone break retrace setup. Oh my goodness, it's so slow today. Maybe our cloud server is maxed out. Who knows? Let's go. And while this is loading, let me just quickly see what symbol requests are coming in. I do see some from GP, from N. Oh my goodness. There we go. Finally. Okay. And Meta and Google. Okay. Perfect. So Argon Inc. Yes. Oops. I definitely like this setup here. Classic zone break retrace. I think even at current price levels, I would just scale into a position here with small positions until eventually prices potentially come all the way down here. If not, at least you have some exposure to this very bullish stock. So let me just take this one here. Oh, look, we had one here at 203. Yeah, which worked out beautifully too for Argon. All right. So adding another screenshot. And finally, then we have American Electric Power Company. Let's go. Come on. Close. And the AEP, American Electric Power Company. Let's have a look. Yeah, if we come down to this level, I like it as well. So I'm also add this one to our trade notes. Perfect. All right, I think we do have a nice list for next week. I'm already excited to see what happens when the market opens on Monday. Okay, perfect. Let's go, American Electric Power Company. Not sure what's going on today. Maybe my server is going through some maintenance, or maybe it's my local computer. Who knows? Perfect. Okay. So now, Nicholas, do we have questions and symbol requests coming in that we can go through?
Yep, sure. So the first symbol request we're going to have is Netflix.
Netflix. All right. Somebody told me this morning that she sold puts. Oh, sorry, bought puts. Bought puts like a week ago in Netflix for good reason because we have a nice lower move here. I told her in my previous webinar this is not something I would have done personally. Going against a big trending stock like this with buying puts, which of course is a bearish play, but it worked out nicely for her. Prices came down. We are still kind of in the magnet zone between support and resistance. There's a chance that prices may come down even further up until the 82 level in Netflix, which would be an amazing discounted price for a stock like Netflix. If this happens, I mean, not saying that it will happen, but if this happened, then we would see a discount of what is it? Like 38, 40% almost. Wow. Yeah. I'm not sure what to say. Netflix, it's like in between zones. It's a bit hard to trade. Of course, the trend is up, but this is definitely a bigger correction. You can see in trend radar, everything red here. Short-term trend is definitely down. And if this short-term trend downwards continues, I think the next stop will be around 83. Yeah, this is definitely a possibility. All right.
Okay, the next one's Datadog, DDOG.
DDOG. All right. Short bounce 3, meaning we're trading right off resistance. We're in a bullish trend. Let's check it out. Oops. Datadog. Okay. Ooh, what happened here? Yeah, that's a messy chart. If I see one. Big gap here. Once again, shows you the power of these gaps. Look at this one. Huge gap move up after earnings. Huge move up. This gap got filled a couple of weeks ago, all the way down here. Now the gap filled, and we lost this resistance level. Yeah, this looks a bit bearish to me now. I think there's a good chance you may see a deeper correction, even Datadog. I'll be a bit careful to go long right now because this level did not hold. This would have been our zone break retrace setup. Didn't work out. And now we're below this resistance level. There's a chance you may even go further down.
Okay, the next one's SoFi, SOFI.
Yeah, SoFi. All right. SoFi Technologies. Let's have a look. Oh, I see a gap. Earnings? Was it earnings? No, something else. Okay, so what's happening here? Definitely a bullish, a more clean or cleaner bullish trend. Let's have a quick look. What do we see here? Yeah, it was a nice zone break retrace. You look at this zone break retrace. What a move up. That's exactly what we're looking for. In fact, I believe no, we didn't save it. Yeah, now we bounced off once again off the support level, came up. I think if prices come down towards this level here, this could be an interesting long entry, especially since we have this down gap here, which probably will get filled eventually. So I would just wait for prices to come down a little bit further, maybe fill this very tiny gap here, and then look for a long or so far. Yeah,
Thank you. And Anne wants to see Meta.
Meta, yes, good old Meta. Where do we have it? All right, just a second. There we go. All right, bullish for 643 trading days. Yeah, look at this gap here too, huh? Okay, what do we see here? Wow, Meta had its correction already. Yeah, so here it looks like this correction might be gone, might have completed here at 580 to 83. We didn't go all the way down to this support level. But now we're facing former support here, which could be acting as resistance. So I would personally would wait to see how price reacts to this resistance level. If we break, well, former support now resistance level. If we break through it, then bullish trade looks promising as we would probably then fill this gap here in Meta, this down gap. Mhm.
Thank you. Can you please take a look at Google?
Yeah,
GOOG?
yeah. Google long break 29. Okay, so here we broke above resistance 29 trading days ago. A bit of an up gap here, which might get tested. Prices are so yeah. Yeah, wow, what a move in Google, huh? Jesus. Beautiful move here. That's the zone break. The scanner pointed out 29 trading days ago. Nice move up. We do have this gap here. Prices are extended. I personally would not enter right now. I would wait for something like this, like a level 3 pullback of some sort, or at least level 2, to consider going or adding to a long position in Google. It's just expensive up here now.
Thank you, Daniel. Now, this one's not on the dashboard. Apparently, it's called DQ. It's a Chinese silicone manufacturer, if I read that right. And Aubrey wants to know, is this still a zone break retrace?
Let's check it out. Okie dokie. Oh, where did we come from here? Oh, that's the 50-minute chart. 1 second. All right, let me just go here, configure this properly. 1 second. Okay. So, what are we? Hmm. It's definitely not a clean one. So if you say, hey, our zone break was here, and we came up down here, came up a little bit again, down, we lost the level here all the way, and then we broke above it again, now down again. It's definitely not a clean one, Aubrey. I would I mean, in the end, it doesn't really matter how you call the trade. Just scroll back a little bit. Yeah, because I would not go long. This to me actually just smells like hey, this is just a correction in this bigger bearish move. Look at this big move down here, a little up. This could just be a correction within that move. So if we go maybe from say here to here, then we would see this is now yeah, around the 38.2 retracement level, maybe a bit more. Could be just another leg further down. I'll be careful of this one, Aubrey. From a technical point of view, maybe you have some fundamental insights, but from a technical point of view, this looks a little bit, yeah, bearish to me.
Could you check out Hawkins, please, Daniel?
Yeah.
HWKN.
Yep. Hawkins. All right. Long-term bullish. Currently pulling back a little bit. Ah, yeah. I like the fact that it's so long-term bullish, which is nice, but it's I really didn't like the fact that we lost this zone break retracement level here, this former resistance level. Prices just plummeted through. It's like just powered through. Now we recovered. We're right at this level. If we get above it, it looks more bullish to me. But now let's see how price will react to this level right here. We're coming up to it from below. It may act as resistance. We may see another leg further down. So if we get above it, maybe this could be interesting long. Yeah.
Okay, and the next one's going to be NVIDIA.
Yeah. NVIDIA. I like NVIDIA. Um, there we go. Magnet zone, but let me just have a quick look here. Yeah. It's to me, I mean it's a volatile stock, but I think we found our lower end of this corrective phase here. Once we came from the all-time highs here at 97, around 84. We bounced off nicely from it. Let me see, did we call this one out at this point? No, we didn't. Oh, this is not NVIDIA. What am I doing? See, this is how you see, guys, how agnostic I am, or how I don't discriminate anything. I just look at the technicals. Of course, it's NASDAQ. Where's NVIDIA? Where do we have it? N. Oh, of course, if I don't type it in properly. N. There we go. Okay. Sorry for this. I was wondering. I knew I saw it before for long bounce. Sorry, this is the magnet zone. Sorry for this, guys. Yes. All right. So here we came off the all-time highs at 212. Now down to the support level. It kind of held. And it's a level 4 pullback here as per trend radar. I like it a lot. Yeah, for a long entry. I think that's definitely something promising. Perhaps even something for our trade of the week next week. Yeah, I like it.
Thanks, Daniel. And the next one's going to be Shopify.
Shopify, yes. Is this a Canadian company? Just quickly have a look. It's always good to find something out. Let's quickly enable a column here. What's the headquarter country? Yeah, it is a Canadian company. I believe so. I saw some Shopify signs here in Montreal. All right, what do we see here? Magnet zone for 4 trading days, and bullish since for the last 424 trading days. Let's check it out. Yeah, kind of in the middle of nowhere. I mean, the chance to get into this was down here. Look at this beaut. Prices came down here. That right to support with a liquidity capture. And that was, of course, a beautiful thing to have. And I'm surprised we didn't find it. Maybe this was not the same setup anymore on the weekend when we were scanning sessions, but you could have found this one during the week. By the way, guys, uh, we're having these scanning sessions on the weekend based on the market data from Friday. But you can run these scans after every single trading day, Monday night or Tuesday morning, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, no problem. You can run these ones to find these interesting setups. That's the beauty about this dashboard. Yeah, but I like it. Just I think now we kind of missed the wagon here, but I do think this uptrend will continue at least towards this resistance level here at 181.
Thanks, Daniel. Okay, just catching up on some of these requests. Could we look at target, please? TGT.
Yeah, target. All right. Target bearish for 262 trading days. Yeah, all these consumer defensive stocks have been suffering of the downtrend in that overall sector, including Costco, by the way. Boy, that's going on here. Bearish came off support here. This would not be a stock for me for the long direction. Maybe when we come up, or if we come up to this resistance level at 99, big psychological level two for buying puts, doing a bearish play here, potentially, but not bullish at all. So potentially bearish if you come up a bit higher. All right. We have
AIG.
Cintas.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
Cintas we had already, David, and now AIG. Yeah, I see that one too. All right. Long bound 7. Okay. Yeah. AIG, big insurance company, I believe. It's just a bit sideways here. We're consolidating for quite a bit, coming off this support level here. Just zoom in a little bit more. Yeah, it's an interesting one. Just keep in mind that when we have like two levels right next to each other, like here at 75 and then here at 70, also 75, it's typically the lower one, which is the more powerful one and the more meaningful one. Just give this trade a bit more room if you want to go long. But yeah, I like it for a long trade. Mhm.
Okay, and now gonna look down here. We already looked at TGT, CTSH.
Yeah, CTSH. Short bounce in a bearish trend. Okay. Meaning we are right at resistance. Oh, let's have a look at this one. Okay. I mean, yeah, the trend is bearish, but it looks like kind of sideways to me. I mean, it's a nice wavy stock, respecting the levels quite nicely, I have to say. And if, want to take a shot, hey, this stock is respecting our levels nicely. What would be the play here? Oh, maybe buying puts if they're cheap to have. Yeah, potentially. It would be speculative, of course. But yeah. And Olga, I mentioned Gap IQ part two. It's either next week or in 2 weeks. Okay. We mentioned it in the masterclass as well. Okay, perfect. All right.
The next symbol is GAH, Gallagher.
Oh, Arthur J. Gallagher?
No,
Oh no, or
Gallagher,
just Gallagher.
GAH.
Okay, I thought it was one of our blasts from the past. Or a good old GAH, like this? Is it?
Yep, like GA,
I got
GAH.
We don't have it. Huh. God. Oh, is it? Oh, this is Arthur J. Gallagher. Just as a different name on a different
Oh,
stock exchange. So it is Arthur J. Gallagher, but let's just go to the uh Arthur J. Gallagher here, AGG, long bound 7. Okay, let's see what's happening here. Oh yeah. I mean, this used to be one of my favorite stocks to have because it was such a stable uptrend. And now this bigger correction, of course, I guess these corrections will happen at some point. But we did go to bearish trend here a couple of weeks ago in Emi Rush. I would just to be a bit careful now, entering now because it's just It's a caught catching a falling knife, as I mentioned before. So yeah, um, I would be careful to enter long now. I think there's a good chance that this level may even fail and we go further down. Yeah. David, we had
Okay.
Cintas already. I look at it again real quick, but we had it a couple of times already before. And it's in fact it's on our watch list. You can see it here for as a potential trade for next week. I like the fact that it's coming off this key support level and it's super long-term bullish. Look at this one here. So I did like it for this premise. Look at it. It's beautiful. What a bullish stock. Yeah. Okay, and Oklo, I see
Oklo.
Oklo
Yeah.
there. Yeah. Oklo. Bullish for 287 trading days. And Oklo is nuclear reactors, isn't it? I believe so. Let me just quickly have a look. Yeah, fission, nuclear fission. Okay. What do we see here? Yeah, portable nuclear reactors. Crazy. Yeah. When you see that's the future of our energy problems, especially with the all the AI applications, which are extremely energy hungry. Yeah, I like it. Would have loved to see it come down a little bit further, but what we see here actually is, if you look careful, we can see there's a little green line here. I'm gonna extend this a little bit, kind of a zone break retrace setup from here all the way down here, and now this may take off again. I like it. That's an interesting one. Yeah, good. All
Okay, and I
right.
think we have one symbol, Daniel, if we can wrap it up with it, which I glossed over, which was MicroStrategy.
And Olga, I will get back to the email, okay? Just there's no need to I will check my email. There's lots of emails coming in, so I will send you the recording. Okay. Okay, MicroStrategy. MSTR or called strategy now. Is that the one, Nicholas?
Yep,
Which
that's right.
okay,
Yep.
perfect. Okay. Sweet. Yeah, MicroStrategy. I mean, they are suffering after the decline of Bitcoin, huh? First of all, many people said, hey, that would go up when Bitcoin goes up a lot. It didn't go up to the same degree because it turned out the premiums they had on top of the Bitcoin price were extremely high. Now Bitcoin lost steam. MicroStrategy went down, and now I think it's all a question of, hey, what's going to be happening with Bitcoin? Do we see another leg down? As there's a possibility, then I think MicroStrategy will also continue further down. We went bearish here, so I wouldn't hold my breath too much on MicroStrat. I'm not, at least not until Bitcoin is recovered. Yeah, yeah, you can see it here. If we see this completion all the way to 74, and then Bitcoin will recover afterward, I think MicroStrategy will benefit, but there might be still another leg further down. So I would be careful in going long MicroStrategy. Perfect. Alrighty. Well, I think this covers pretty much all the questions. Thanks, Niklas, so much for helping me with those. And there's one more EBIT. Okay, so one last symbol. iShares Bitcoin ETF. Yeah, I guess it's going to be in a similar picture as the actual Bitcoin price. I can see it. Yeah, it will be very much the same story. So also here, I mean, leg down a bit up here, and then maybe there might be another leg further down. That is towards this price level. So it's pretty much the same story as Bitcoin for this ETF. And in fact, if you were to count these legs, if you're any kind of an Elliott wave enthusiast, you can see a nice 5-wave down pattern, which might be the end of the downwards move. And then we may see a move further up again. Okay. And WSM, one last, Williams Sonoma. All right. Bullish for 582 trading days. Yeah, it's just not the cleanest setup. Kind of in the middle of this consolidation zone between 130 here and like 218 up there. So I'll be a bit careful of this because we may see another bigger leg coming down towards the extremes of this consolidation zone. Anyways, let me go back to my slides real quick. If I can get them on the full screen. There we go. Real quick, if you have not tried out our dashboard yet, and you would like to check it out, because you can scan every single day for interesting setups, not just on the weekend, of course. with every market close, no new price data will come in, and I promise you there will be interesting setups every single trading day. And we are religiously trading with our dashboard from a swing trading point of view all the time. It's been highly successful for us, and hopefully maybe for you as well. So there's a 1 week free trial out there at tradingindicators.com/view. This link is in the chat. And in fact, I will also post the video, the recording of the session on this very same page as well. So tradingindicators.com/view. And if there was a question which was missed out, and Ola, we're going to go to Motorola next time. I have to wrap it up because I have to another engagement afterwards. Busy Saturday for me. We're going to get to Motorola afterwards. If there are any questions, please reach out to us via our homepage, tradingindicators.com. Go to support, then contact, put your question there, and we're going to get back to you as soon as I can. And Olga, sometimes it just takes a little longer because there are many requests coming in. So, but I will get to all these emails. Just sometimes a bit of patience is required. And Anne is wondering, when we sign up, will the Liquidity IQ be available in my TradingView account? No, Anne, that's not. You will get access to the dashboard, which has Liquidity IQ and Mirage and some other indicators available within the dashboard, but you will not get these standalone indicators. These are a separate product. No, it will not be. But yeah, we have many users who have both a subscription to the dashboard and our TradingView indicators, for example. And as you can see here, we trade with them all the time, primarily for day trading on TradingView. Just going to go back one more time to our wheat futures trade, which was just a thing of beauty. Where is it? ZW, wheat futures. There we go. On the 50-minute time frame. I'm just going to configure this real quick with the 30. Here's the second. All right, perfect. Yeah, it was just a really nice one. This trade here, for example, this was the one we took this one in our lunch and learn sessions on Tuesday together with you guys. And by the way, our next session is planned for this Tuesday at 12 p.m. Eastern time, our lunch and learn session. And once again, we're going to try to find some interesting day trades, most likely. Schedule permitting, but most likely we will be looking at some day trades as well. This was the one we pointed out there. Beautiful trade. We could have runs and repeated this one over here again. Liquidity capture at resistance. Nonetheless, yeah, as we have many clients who have the dashboard subscription for swing trades and the individual indicators, as mentioned before, for TradingView for day trades. Yes, you would need to purchase for both. That's right. All right, with this, guys, have a great weekend. I wish you all some relaxation with your families. Take some time off. Recover if you got a cold, like Nicholas told me has a cold a bit. I myself feel like a little bit something is coming down, which is no wonder because it's really cold here in Montreal. We probably had one of the coldest weeks in December. I think it was minus 16 yesterday or the day before. Super cold. Nonetheless, it's nice to have a good winter for once. In Germany, cold winters are not so often anymore. At least here in Montreal, we do get them quite a bit. All right, guys. With this, have a great weekend. Olga says I'm working too hard. Nah, it's all right. It's I think I have a really nice life work balance, so don't worry about this. In fact, after this, if you guys are curious, I'll be doing a little bit of work, but then at 2:30 today, I'm going to be watching the MLS Cup final, where it's Inter Miami against the Vancouver Whitecaps. Go Caps with Thomas Müller, if you guys know. And afterwards, I'm going to play some soccer myself. So lots of cool things going on. All right, guys, with this, have a great weekend and talk to you soon. Thanks, Nicholas, for being here. Bye-bye.